Tokyo stands as the planet's largest city, spreading beyond imagination with over 41 million residents living together in an immense urban landscape. Its population feels as if an entire nation has been concentrated into one massive metropolitan body, stretching endlessly in every direction. Imagine taking every citizen of a large country and placing them inside a single city, overflowing with life and constant movement. Writers have often described Tokyo as containing numerous distinct urban worlds, each resembling a separate bustling metropolis with its own rhythm. Now begins the journey to understand how this extraordinary place rose to become the most expansive city humanity has ever created. Standing in the city's center, perhaps at a world-famous crossing, you immediately sense Tokyo's unbelievable scale, stretching far beyond the skyline. Walking outward toward quieter suburban neighborhoods requires extraordinary time and patience because the city remains dense for countless kilometers. Continuing farther, the surroundings slowly transform into semi-rural spaces where homes and fields finally begin emerging between narrow, winding streets. Studying detailed online maps helps reveal the nearest natural green zones that appear untouched and not shaped into managed city parks. These areas sit roughly 11 hours away by foot from the heart of Tokyo, emphasizing its massive geographical spread across the region. Even once those green spaces appear, the city continues further beyond them, still packed with homes, shops, and constant everyday activity. Reaching true mountain regions demands another long 11-hour walk, showing how urban space flows into wilderness only after great distance. Navigating a city of such magnitude raises the question of how daily movement can function efficiently for millions of people. More than half of the region's vast population relies on public transportation each day, forming one of the world's busiest commuter cultures. To support life at this scale, avoiding complete traffic collapse requires systems that allow people to travel without constant gridlock. Traffic across Tokyo can reach overwhelming levels, creating situations where roads seem endlessly congested despite impressive transportation planning efforts. Because of this, public transit has become vital for nearly everyone who lives within the enormous boundaries of the metropolitan area. The region contains the most extensive urban rail system humanity has ever built, connecting distant districts through countless interwoven rail lines. Comparing smaller rail networks from other global cities reveals how compact they appear beside Tokyo's vast interconnected transportation web. Overlaying Tokyo's rail design on these maps displays a dizzying network that dwarfs and outscales nearly every other urban transit system. Among its many stations, one central hub stands as the busiest on Earth, moving entire city-sized populations through its corridors daily. The number of daily commuters rivals the population of major world cities, making this station an astonishing example of human movement. With hundreds of entrances and exits, the structure forms an overwhelming maze that challenges even experienced travelers navigating its depths. Despite extremely efficient systems, crowding becomes unavoidable because so many people rely on trains operating continuously throughout long, busy hours. No matter how many carriages run, some journeys inevitably reach intense congestion due to the sheer number of passengers relying on them. Most major cities have one clear downtown center, but Tokyo spreads its energy across many areas that function like independent urban cores. You can stand in one bustling district and feel convinced you are in the primary center of the entire metropolis that surrounds you. Travel 45 minutes in one direction by rail and step out into another district that still feels completely central and energetic. Move again 45 minutes along a different line, and the environment continues to feel like a self-contained downtown filled with activity.
This unusual structure makes Tokyo a collection of overlapping centers, each vibrant enough to serve as a cultural core on its own.
Because there is no single dominant center, each district develops its personality, specializing in unique cultures that draw specific communities. One area becomes a gathering place for fans of animation, gaming, electronics, and subcultures that flourish within brightly illuminated streets. Crowds of enthusiasts, costumed performers, and shoppers fill these blocks, creating an atmosphere unlike any other part of the city. Another neighborhood acts as the heart of youth expression, filled with bold fashion, creative styles, and constantly evolving cultural trends. Elsewhere lies a district focused on traditional temples, heritage craft shops, and festivals that preserve historical roots within modern surroundings. A different district offers luxury brands, massive fashion stores, elegant roads, and high-end shopping that define the city's premium lifestyle. People stroll through these streets dressed in refined clothing, reflecting the area's reputation for sophistication and exclusive commercial experiences. During the 1970s, global organizations introduced the term megacity to describe urban regions exceeding 10 million residents in population. The first city to hold this title emerged earlier in the century, but Tokyo quickly overtook it and continued expanding further. Its rapid rise allowed it to dominate records repeatedly, becoming the world's largest urban concentration again and again through the decades. Tokyo pioneered many innovations essential for managing urban life at enormous scale, designing systems still used in modern cities worldwide. For example, parking technology developed ways to detect vehicles that never moved, despite attempts to reset posted time limits repeatedly. Highway signs began displaying real-time information to drivers whenever congestion increased, helping guide traffic through busy interconnected routes. When travel between major regions grew unmanageable, engineers developed an unprecedented high-speed train to reduce journey times dramatically. This revolutionary train reshaped transportation and helped support millions who depended on rapid travel for business, work, and daily life. The train's aerodynamic shape inspired its well-known name, symbolizing speed and technological advancement across the nation's transportation system. Engineers also constructed one of the world's largest underground drainage structures, designed to protect the metropolis from severe flooding disasters. Centuries ago, none of these grand achievements existed during the time when the region remained a quiet fishing settlement. Back then, the area consisted of small clusters of homes, boats, and simple livelihoods centered around modest waterfront activity. This early settlement held a different name and would eventually transform from a humble village into a powerful historical capital. During the early 16th century, major political shifts reshaped the country after long periods of conflict among regional powers. A victorious ruling family united the land and established a new era, steering national authority into a more stabilized system. They selected the small fishing town as their administrative center, greatly elevating its importance and attracting powerful groups. By consolidating political and economic control, the settlement began evolving rapidly into a significant urban hub with rising influence. Samurai, merchants, artisans, and influential families migrated from across the country, fueling the town's transformation into a thriving center. The location proved ideal because it rested beside the nation's largest flat plain, offering abundant farmland and accessible trade opportunities. Nearby regions produced plentiful crops that traveled easily into the growing settlement through waterways connecting distant agricultural zones. As the population expanded, the settlement spread outward, gradually forming a large city shaped by commerce and strategic governance. This era became so significant that historians still refer to the following 2 centuries by the city's former historical name.
By the 18th century, estimates suggested the population surpassed 1 million, making it among the world's largest cities at that time. In the mid-19th century, after lengthy isolation, the country reopened to global trade, science, ideas, and foreign diplomatic exchange. This shift accelerated industrial growth, social transformation, and rapid modernization across many sectors, affecting everyday life nationwide. During this transformative moment, the city received a new name meaning Eastern Capital, marking a symbolic beginning of modernization. Industrial development drew countless rural workers seeking employment in expanding factories, swelling the city's population dramatically. The metropolis became defined by fast growth, economic opportunity, and constant change driven by national reconstruction and global influence. Throughout its history, the city experienced repeated cycles of destruction and renewal, including devastating fires that erased entire districts. Each time disaster struck, residents rebuilt with determination, shaping a culture of resilience deeply embedded within the city's identity. This spirit of rebirth continues toward the present day, where modern visitors often discuss the surprisingly affordable cost of living. Many travelers compare expenses to their home countries, especially those accustomed to significantly higher prices for food, housing, and services. Seeing local prices in foreign currency often shocks visitors who assume the city must be extremely expensive because of its immense size. However, locals typically earn lower wages compared to visitors from wealthier nations, creating a different economic reality for locals. Travelers unfamiliar with this context may misinterpret affordability without recognizing the broader differences in salaries and purchasing power. This contrast frequently surprises those expecting a highly expensive environment due to the city's global reputation and technological advancement. People today often compare the present situation with memories of the city's extraordinary economic prominence 30 years ago. In the 1990s, media repeatedly highlighted the nation's booming industries, rising incomes, and rapid global influence across major markets. Reports during that era described intense competition between national companies and industries abroad, particularly in fields requiring advanced technology. At one point, wages in this country exceeded those in many Western nations, signaling significant economic promise and rising global prestige. A large portion of vehicles sold in certain foreign markets came from this nation's manufacturers, causing major challenges for competitors. Domestic industries elsewhere struggled under the pressure as consumers increasingly preferred imported products known for reliability and innovation. Over time, though, the economic surge slowed, and other nations gradually surpassed the growth that once seemed unstoppable. Within only a few decades, global economic balance shifted again as other powers regained momentum and expanded more rapidly. The extraordinary rise experienced earlier eventually leveled out, leaving behind memories of a once unmatched era of prosperity. Observers today reflect on this historical shift, comparing former dominance with the more modest economic pace seen in the present. Commentators once joked at the end of geopolitical rivalries that this nation appeared to emerge victorious in unexpected ways. Yet history demonstrates that economies evolve, rise, fall, and transform constantly, reshaping global standings across every passing generation.